Alrighty, the focus for today is to strengthen up our stock frame a ton. So right now Skeeter is working on boxing in our C-channel frame.
Overlay it and trace it, and then we can get our pattern here.
So these frame rails get pretty convoluted and weird, so he's going to be able to stencil it perfectly with some cardboard and then cut it out of this steel we got. This is some high strength steel we got for a pretty good deal. It's super light and super strong, so we're going to use that to box in the frame with. And then I'm going to be working on this engine cross member, tying it in from there to the frame here. I got a bunch of custom plasma cut pieces here. It's going to accomplish that. So I'll work on that. Skeeter boxes in the frame. We'll keep cruising on this build.
I'm waiting for the curtain call. Guess I want it all. Anyway at all. Thought I missed it by waiting for the game respawn. For the lost and found. For the home alone.
Alrighty, I got this vertical plate capped off on the end of this cross member. It's welded on the backside too, like that. So this is going to connect down to this plate I'm welding on the inside of the frame. And these diagonals are going to connect it to.
And for you to come home, you to come home. I let you in, it ain't a sin. With all these simulations, should be fixed now. Will take a while to get rid of. I'm sorry, all we can see the good that we had, Jenny. I'm waiting for the curtain call. Guess I want it all. Anyway at all. Thought I missed it by waiting for the game respawn.
That transition there is a little bit weird, but keep in mind that our legs are going to be right here as a driver. So I wanted to keep this kind of low, so I jotted it down and then came to the frame. But then I cut this piece. It's the same material Skeeter's boxing in the frame with. Put a little bend on the bottom. So this thing's actually going to fit in there pretty good. And I'll weld that up and that'll add a lot of strength to that.
For the lost and found, for the home alone, and for you to come home, you to come home. I let you in, it ain't a sin. With all these simulations, should be fixed now. Will take a while to get rid of. I'm sorry, all we can see the good that we had, Jenny. I won't let my feelings play a game.
Me and Skeeter are making great progress on this frame. He's been going ham, cutting out all these frame sections.
Sometimes I get a little bit off, but most of the time it's pretty precise.
You know what? It doesn't matter because after he cuts them, I weld them, and I ain't scared of your gaps. This all sections welded in, at least up on the top. On the bottom, it's just stitched together, and we'll flip this whole frame over and then hit the bottom and also weld the skid plates on the bottom there.
Pretty dang good right there, huh?
That's pretty straight up pendicular. Is that what you say, Randall?
Straight up pendicular.
Yep, that's what we're after. And before we box in this frame, we're spraying this weldable primer behind it so that this will never rust in here. And then this metal itself that Skeeter was able to find is coated with iron oxide. So that's weldable and also doesn't rust.
Never rust.
How long have you had that piece at your farm? Just out in the weather?
5 years or something, in the mud and stuff.
Yeah.
It hadn't rusted.
So some pretty good stuff. And this frame's already gotten way stronger. I lifted up on that corner a little bit. And it used to be just a wet spaghetti noodle, but now it's a lot stiffer. So I'm excited to see how stiff it gets once we weld the whole thing in.
All the cage and everything's all going to be tied together, so
Yeah.
way strong.
No more silly Ford frame flex. These frame rails are so angled and convoluted that there's a little bit of a challenge for Skeeter to get these to fit right, but he did a great job with them.
Cardboard aided design.
There you go. All right, we ready to tack this piece out? Go ahead and get it where you want it.
Yeah, we'll start with
And
just
I'll
the
zap
easiest
it.
spot.
All
Right there.
Right there in the middle.
Let me get my glasses on.
All right.
Okay.
Hold it
go
tight.
ahead.
Everybody close your eyes.
I figured out a strategy. When we're a little too tall, I just grind it, bevel it, and then it pretty much accomplishes the same effect as like having it totally perfect.
Yeah.
You can see it's a little bit tall, but we'll tack it, then I'll bevel it.
And I just discovered a new trick. I can just weld through the camera. And that acts like a welding hood.
I'll make you a shield.
All right. Alrighty, we're going to see how good of a little welding hood we can make out of my phone and some cardboard. So I'm armed with a Giltech razor blade. These things are pretty sweet. Steel, aluminum, titanium, you can get them in.
Thank you.
Oh yeah, that's nice. All right, you trace out where my phone goes.
We just need just the camera, right? Ooh, this is a nice welding hood.
Yeah, all right, let's get to welding. Alrighty, let's lay down a sick bead right now. Well, not very good. I can't quite study my puddle. I discovered that phones don't make good welding hoods.
Do you think it burned the phone up, Randall?
I know it does. Ask me how I know.
Alright, let's see if I can do any better with one of these. We pulled the frame outside and the axles because the neighbors rented some dry ice blasting equipment. It was like sandblasting but with dry ice, so we're going to try that out. They're going to let us borrow the equipment and we're going to blast all our frame.
Yeah, it'll solve the problem that we're having with the grease on the inside of the axle tube. No matter how hard I try, I can't get it out. I've scraped it with crowbars, sprayed degreaser, had the pressure wash in there multiple times, can't get it out. The dry ice blasting is going to solve our problem. Come to Utah, they said.
It'll be fun, they said.
What's the matter? Thing's heavy, huh?
While I've been in the warmth doing some fab work, Skeeter's been out here getting after this front end of this truck.
It's my natural environment, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, he's used to the North Dakota oil fields.
Yeah, you
Negative
can't
50.
complain. This is warm. Alright, close enough.
There we go. Alright, let's cruise out of here. Alrighty, we're pulling this engine and transmission out. We already took the transfer case out, so the transfer case shouldn't hang up on anything. I'm hoping we can just pull this engine and transmission out in one fell swoop, but there might be some things that hang up on us, so we'll see how this goes.
Well, that went better than expected. Not bad at all.
These aftermarket turbo kits are so convoluted and tight that it's impossible to really work on them while they're in the truck, but now that it's out, we're gonna go ahead and remove it. So then all that exhaust is out of the way, and then we're gonna clean this engine and transmission and get it nice and clean to work on. All right, now everything's loose. There we go. Frame's upside down now, but since I had my gussets supporting this engine cross member kind of low justified, I didn't like how it looked, how it went here and then jointed at this plate and then continued on with the cross member. So Skeeter cut out and welded in this little tab here, and I'm going to finish welding it in. Now we're getting his skid plate time. We're really happy with how this boxed in section helped strengthen the frame. It is leaps and bounds stronger now. And now we're going to weld this metal to the bottom too. This is slightly thinner than what we used for this boxing it in, but oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Not gonna break.
Nah. So this stuff's gonna be super strong. It's gonna run the whole length of the frame rails, except for this cavity here where you have to like pass through a drive shaft. And then this truck is going to be designed to where all servicing of the engine and transmission and transfer case is all done on top. We're literally going to pull all that out through the passenger door if we have to uninstall it and reinstall
You
it.
can sit in the driver's seat and work on the motor.
Oh yeah. So it's okay for us to close up the whole bottom of this. We don't need access from the bottom. We're going to be really easily able to work on it from the top.
Got a couple drain holes in the back there, and we can pressure wash it that way and drain right out.
I got this piece marked, and Skeeter's jamming out, slicing these down, and get them welded there. This is looking sweet, Skeeter.
Oh yeah.
Turn out good.
Ready for some noise? Strong.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think it'll work. There's going to be a couple cross members and roll cages and stuff tied into it. So it's going to be able to slap rocks real hard. I'm going to finish welding all along this seam, and I'm going to grind these ones off. These ones I'm going to weld and grind them off, but leave it there. And then it'll be nice and slick. Nothing to catch them.
Yeah, this is going to slide over everything.
Yeah. This metal is incredibly strong and light, so it's perfect.
I'm stoked to see just how strong we can get this frame. We haven't added much weight at all, really, with this thin, strong steel.
I mean, look how this is going to be, and then the roll cage, and then
Yeah.
this thing's going to probably, if I'm willing to bet, knowing Hunter, he's going to go through like 5 different iterations of this truck. It'll probably end up with like a big block in there, or like an LS or something crazy, and then it'll be like a monster truck, and who knows?
Who knows? Yeah, we'll just see what sort of budget we can work with in the future. First rendition is definitely the budget build, but there's lots of room for improvements if more money comes around and more mods to make. And I'm excited to see how this one turns out. This is
At
definitely
least
one
the
to
neighbor
keep
likes
around.
it because, you know, we make a lot of noise and stuff.
Yeah, the neighbors are stoked to see how this one turns out. Hope you guys are too. Thanks for tuning along for this build. Keep cranking it out.